manufacturing, to the power sector, to youth employment, to cultural development, to peace building, religious harmony and conflict resolution, to research and innovation and development of new products. Chancellor and founder, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so delighted to let you know that the harvest that we got from the private universities is so rich, is so heartwarming, that if President Muhammadu Buhari sees that report today, he will just order that they should give each private university 10 billion grants for right away. So, talking more seriously, one is highly impressed with what we got. In a few weeks, we are concluding the report. In a few weeks, a book will be out under the flag of Afe Babalola University, and you'll be able to see the richness of activities that are happening in our university. I cannot, on account of time, go through all of these elements one by one, but just note that it's been a very wonderful outing for our universities. There's a study underway that I'm leading with a number of others, and this study is on the socio-economic impact factor of private universities in Nigeria. We are collecting data now on a number of socio-economic variables from the private universities. I want to be able to report what the impact factor is of the private universities that government had already licensed in development of Nigeria. So there are 18 indicators that are of interest to us. I have 5 on this slide. One is the impact of these private universities of food security. Look at Abuad, for instance. How many of you have been to Abuad Farm? Abuad Farm can feed half of Nigeria, I think. In a little while, to feed half of Nigeria. So the impact, I said in a little while, to feed half of Nigeria, 200 million. So if you add the efforts of Abuad with a number of others, you will note that the private university system or subsystem, if you like, is impacting food security. But we are not going to be theoretical or conjectural. It's going to be data-driven. Because, you know, this kind of thing, when you finally come up with a report and take it to government, government will do a further analysis of it. And we do not want to be controverted in any way. So it's going to be really tight in terms of data. Also on economic security, on health security, I was so delighted to learn that our new teaching hospital in Abuad, mind the pronoun that I'm using, I say our, because you know, by tomorrow I'm going to be a graduate of Abuad, like Prof. is. So it's our teaching hospital, offering free medical service to people around here. So that's a contribution to health security of Nigeria. And I like our team, the team that is the personnel. I think you should stand up again. Let us recognize you for our teaching hospital. Yeah, please stand up again. The team that was, yeah, please stand up again. Let's thank them. No, all of you, please stand, that are going to be part of this wonderful intervention. Thank you, and thank you. Please sit down. Also the power sector. You don't see what the universities that we have surveyed are reporting on their contributions to the power sector. Also cultural security, on peace building. These are 5 of 18 indicators that we'll be looking at. If the private universities are doing well, if we know they're of continued relevance, it makes intuitive sense that they should have some support from government. And in the book that you will get, I've tried to provide some empirical basis for proposing the support from the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TED Fund for short. Let me take 3 arguments. One argument is equity, and I've bifurcated that argument in 2 areas. The money inside the pot of TED Fund is drawn largely from the private sector. The gross earnings or profit, some percentage of it from the private sector goes into that pot. So, on the base of equity, if you now have universities that money is serving, I think it is, you are disenfranchising a very significant group from where the parent is putting in that money. So I provided some good analysis there under equity consideration. The second strand is that when the Abua graduates live here, they are not going to Mars, they are not going to work in the moon, they are going to work in Nigeria and contributing to the national economy, just like graduates from Ibadan. So if, for equity reasons, if you are supporting Ibadan to produce graduates, it is just equitable for you to support Abuad and other private universities to be able to strengthen their production of graduates for the national economy. Now let's look at relevance, consideration of relevance. Daddy, Dr. Olajide, I salute you, sir. Yes, sir. The question of relevance. I mentioned it earlier that data abound, very rich data on the relevance that our private universities are showing to development. Even on that basis, of the base of their relevance, you want to now further strengthen and bolster, their relevance. So we need to have that kind of TED fund support. The other one is historical. And I like you to listen to this history. When, in quotes now, Nigeria was growing up, we had the 1882 Education Ordinance, we had the 1888 Education Ordinance, and then thereafter, let me tell you how the government of Nigeria was working even after our amalgamation. The private sector established basic education, that we call it now, primary schools, secondary schools. Like I attended a Catholic secondary school. Government at that time wanted a scheme where these schools, in order to maintain standards, in order to ensure that they are doing well, gave them what is called grants in aid. What's grants in aid? Grants in aid is some kind of money to support you. And you don't need to send it back. You only need to provide evidence that you are, spending it well. That's what happened up to very recent, almost just before independence. So when the private enterprises at the lower level were not able to find their feet, grants in aid then petered off. So the private investors only came into the horizon effectively from 1999-2000. So the logic of this argument is that let us do the same for private universities as we did in the early years of the basic education system, so that after a while, when they have now gained traction, then that can be pulled out. So these are the thrusts, the planks on which my arguments lie. So what is the proposal that I have for funding through TED Fund, for supporting or intervening in private university education by TED Fund? I have 5 models. The first model is to apply the same formula as you have for public universities. In other words, whatever is happening to the goose, give it to the gander. The same parameters and all. The second is performance funding. Performance funding is you do not just throw your money at every private university regardless of performance. So when they are performing well, then Madam Yaka say I can salute you there. Is our ES here? Oh my goodness, my boss is here. I already recognized you at the start, sir. Would like to thank and congratulate you